So let's take for this Mazda MX-5 Super Cup race, which we'll see in a moment's time, for this second race of the weekend. And here they are. On the front row will be Sam Smith and Patrick Fletcher. On row 2, Declan Lee and Richard Amos. On row 3, John Langridge and Jack Hardin. And on row 4, James Cousins and Luke Whitworth. On the fifth row of the grid sees Kevin Sylvain and Nick Rutter. On row 6, Simon Fleet and Adam Bessel. On row 7, Simon Baldwin and Clive Powell. And on row 8, Will Blackwell Chambers with Tom Selden alongside. On row 9, Tom Smith starts alongside Braden Fletcher. On row 10, Martin Tolley and Chris Richardson. On row 11, Martin Canning and Lee Britton. With on row 12, Martin Heath and George Grant. Alex Miller starts on row 13 alongside Matthew Hallam. And on row 14, James Warrior and Seamus Heaney. Row 15, Nick Dunn and Bruce Robinson. With on row 16, Clive Chisnell and Will Wright. The 17th row of the grid has Stephen New alongside Marcus Colton. And on row 18, Alex Jones alongside Andrew Flynn. On row 19, Liz Walton and Matt Pickford. And on the final and 20th row of the grid, Xavier Brooke and Ivor Mares. So a full 40 car for the Mazda MX-5 Super Cup. Some of the reserves get a race after a few issues for some others from earlier. This is the 5th round of the Mazda MX-5 Super Cup for Mark III MX-5s, one of the most competitive club racing categories in the UK, and qualifying very much showed that yesterday with about half the grid within a second, and we saw an excellent race this morning in worsening conditions, which was won by Sam Smith over from Adam Bessel and Jack Hardin. There was a penalty for Richard Amos, so he dropped well down the order. But this grid is set by the second fastest laps from qualifying, so the results not set by the grid here. The second best laps from qualifying sets the grid for the second of 3 races today for the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Super Cup, and the green flag lap will shortly be getting underway. Sam Smith is the reigning champion. That starts from pole position. He was quickest in qualifying, and he won the earlier race by about half a second. Alongside him is Patrick Fletcher, who was twice a winner at Croft last time out, the former double Clio champion, but switching to rear-wheel drive Mazdas over the last couple of seasons. On row 2, Declan Lee, a great qualifying session from him. He finished 4th in this morning's race too, so he's having a great weekend. Coming to this weekend, he was 11th in the championship, so going much better at Silverstone than he went at Croft. Alongside him is Richard Amos, who's been a star of the weekend up until he got that track limit penalty, the club class driver. Qualified there 4th on the grid and was right amongst the front runners earlier. And on row 3 got John Langridge, the former Mark I race winner. He was a winner elsewhere in endurance racing last weekend in a Mazda, but he's back in this Super Cup car, and he starts on row 3 alongside Jack Hardin, who is always a front runner. He's yet to win a race this year though, but he has been on the podium in every race, much like Sam Smith. On row 4, James Cousins, he was running 2nd earlier but dropped to 7th well there to start on the 4th row of the grid. He finished 13th earlier, so he'll be hoping to have a better race this time. On row 5, Kevin Sylvain, he was the club class winner in the end earlier after Richard Amos was penalised, and Nick Rutter starts alongside him. A bit further back, watch out for Adam Bessel, he finished 2nd earlier, he starts 12th this time. Will Blackwell Chambers, former champion of the Mark I category, he starts 15th. He finished 10th earlier, so a couple of drivers there who should move through the field. Braden Fletcher too, he was a fast starter earlier. He starts 18th on the grid. The younger brother of current British GT racer Kelvin Fletcher, and more well known for British GT racer Kelvin Fletcher, and more well known for his Strictly Come Dancing and Emmerdale exploits. But Braden Fletcher there starts P18. Matt Hallam gets to race this time. He was a reserve coming into the weekend, a Formula Ford racer. He starts 26th. So he should go well. Clapham Northman out there too. George Grant, a big supporter of the MX-5 Super Cup racing. So he'll be hoping to progress. Went really well at Brands Hatch at the end of last season, which was in similar kind of conditions. So slippery and wet, so it's going to be tricky out there, but everybody should know what setup to go on because the weather has been pretty static for the last hour or so. And lining up there on the front row of the grid, Patrick Fletcher and Sam Smith, two of the main championship contenders this season. The third of them really being Jack Hardin, who starts there on row 3. And this huge grid of cars are all lining up on the grid. It's absolutely fantastic to see. 3 full grids this weekend. There's nearly 120 Mazda MX-5s racing over the course of the 2 days. We saw the MX-5 Clubman Championship yesterday, which had something like 35 cars on the grid. The MX-5 Championship had 47 cars qualify yesterday. Obviously only 40 can start in a race. And the MX-5 Super Cup had 42 cars qualify yesterday. And again, 40 cars on the grid here. So brilliant to see the huge entries for the British Racing Sports Car Club. This is round 5 of the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Super Cup, which gets underway now then, and everybody gets away without too much of an issue, which is good to see. This is a 20-minute race, and Patrick Fletcher's made a good start here, and he's right alongside Sam Smith as they turn their way through Copse Corner. Lots and lots of spray in the mid-pack, so it'll be difficult to see for those further back in the pack. You can see 66 there. That was Martin Heath, one of the club class runners, and they will make their way down towards Maggots, where Sam Smith leads the motor race from Patrick Fletcher, who's in second position. In third is Richard Amos, another good start from him. It's very hard to pick up cars in the middle because there is a lot more spray than there was earlier for these cars. They turn their way through Beckett's and onto the Wellington Straight for the first time, and slipstreaming won't be quite as effective as in the dry, but it's certainly still possible. Patrick Fletcher didn't have a good race earlier. He finished 6th, so he's hoping for a better one this time as the field make their way at least 2 wide, 3 wide on occasions, down in towards Brooklands Corner for the first time. They turn. There's number 67, Clive Chisnell, amongst the battlers, and out of Luffield comes the leader. Sam Smith has held on then ahead of Patrick Fletcher. Richard Amos 3rd, 4th is Declan Lee. In 5th position there was James Cousins, I think, who made a good start as they stream across the line with no real gaps developing between anybody. It was Cousins in 5th. 6th is John Langridge. 7th, a good start for Adam Bessel. Poor start from Jack Hardin, his 8th. 9th is Kevin Sylvain, and 10th is Luke Whitworth after lap 1 of 20 minutes of MX-5 Super Cup racing. And Sam Smith's had a good run through Copse Corner. He's starting to pull away from Patrick Fletcher for 3rd. Look at James Cousins go, card number 24. He started 7th on the grid. I think he grabbed 3rd on the inside line into Beckett, sir. Car 15 goes for a spin. That is Clive Powell. I think the car that was alongside him also spun. 41 Tom Smith. They both though should rejoin without too much of a problem, but of course they will have lost time. Cousins is 3rd. This is a great start to the race for car number 24 there, who's up into 3rd place. James Cousins up the inside. Here comes Adam Bessel, who's made an even better start to this motor race because he started 12th and he's up to 4th now. He's alongside the car there of Richard Amos. That's Martin Tolley, who's gone off there at Brooklands, but he'll get back on. The top 3 are getting away, being headed by Sam Smith from Patrick Fletcher and James Cousins. In 4th position is Amos, with Adam Bessel in 5th. Remember, he started 12th, so it's been a good start for him. He was 7th after 1 lap. He might get 4th as they make their way down towards Copse Corner, but that's defended, I think, by Amos. Patrick Fletcher had a look down the inside, couldn't do it. Bessel on the curb there. The car got sideways. Declan Lee is behind with John Langridge in P7, who gets there sideways as well. Jack Hardin 8th, and there's loads of cars that have run very, very wide out of Copse Corner, so that wouldn't have helped their case. Simon Baldwin set the fastest lap on the first flyer. He's in 10th with a 76.738, so he's making progress. There's car number 6 then. That is the club class leader, Richard Amos, but he's looking for a good result today. He's currently 4th. Simon Baldwin was the one that was way out wide there at Beckett's. Trying to gain positions. Here comes Patrick Fletcher having a sneaky look up the inside of the race leader, Sam Smith. There's Amos looking to pass. He's in passed, I should say, by Adam Bessel. So Bessel up to 4th now. He's got it done this time. Up ahead of the Sam Smith racing cart there of Amos as they turn their way through Luffield. John Langridge is behind, ahead of Declan Lee. So that's a change on this lap, with Jack Hardin struggling down in 8th. He struggled in the first part of the last race too, then came through well. Simon Baldwin is 9th, so he's got himself ahead of Kevin Sylvain. There's car 12, that is Declan Lee as they complete 3 laps of this race, and Patrick Fletcher is challenging for the lead. He's looking to the outside. He's very close to the back of the race leader of Sam Smith. He's done the fastest lap as Fletcher now, a 76.700. The double Clio champion trying to go for the lead as they head their way down towards Maggots. Everybody else can't see a thing in the spray. So Patrick Fletcher keen to come to make a move as they make their way down to Beckett's. Can't do it. James Cousins is there in P3. Then there's a gap back to Adam Bessel, who will be looking to bridge the gap, and he's doing so already with 1.5 seconds behind after when they crossed the line after 3 laps. So he looks closer to me now as they head down the Wellington Straight for the 4th time. Fletcher again looks to the inside of Sam Smith as they break then down into Brooklands corner. There's James Cousins. Remember, he was a good starter from 7th on the grid. He made good progress here, so has good pace, it would seem, in the early stage of the race. Here comes Fletcher to the inside into Luffield. We know the outside line works well, though, at that corner, so Sam Smith hangs on in front. Very inviting, the inside line, when someone takes a wide line like that. Fletcher it didn't work for, though, which has allowed Cousins right onto his tail initially, but then Fletcher seems to get through the gears well and gets back on terms with Sam Smith using the slipstream. And he crosses the line after 4 laps, only 0.2 of a second away from the leader as they turn their way into Copse Corner with James Cousins third. It's been an incident, though, I'm afraid, at Copse Corner, I should say, involving Scott Wright, car number 11 in the Paddock Motorsport car. And this is going to bring out our first safety car of the day. So safety car boards are being shown. Both drivers seem to be okay. Already out the car is Scott Wright, and the other driver is about to get out of his car once I think the cars have all passed him. And that other car might well have been Kevin Sylvain. 62 hasn't come round. No, he has now. So he's lost a lot of time. So Kevin Sylvain had an issue. So it's a couple of cars at the back that had that incident at Copse Corner. Car number 11 was Scott Wright. It looks like Alex Jones is the other one. So it's Alex Jones, the former Formula V racer, who just gets out of his car there. Would look like the front left corners off it. Yeah, they're the 2 cars that have gone missing. So it's car number 33, Alex Jones, which is the car that is on the circuit, and car number 11 that's in the gravel is Scott Wright. So brief pause now while the safety car is out. 2 cars to be recovered by the rescue crews here at Silverstone. Prior to the safety car coming out, Adam Bessel did the fastest lap of the race, a 75.830. He's in 4th. Leading the race, number 1, Sam Smith. In 2nd is 29, Patrick Fletcher. 3rd, 24, James Cousins. 4th is 4, Adam Bessel. 5th is number 6, Richard Amos. 6th is number 5, John Langridge. You can see this on your screen now. In 7th is 12, Declan Lee. 8th is 43, Jack Harden. 9th is 2, Simon Baldwin. 10th is 18, Will Blackwell Chambers. 11th is number 10, Braden Fletcher. 12th is 419, Martin Canning. 13th is 55, Simon Fleet. In 14th, 41, Sam Smith. 15th is 96, which is Chris Richardson. In 15th is 66, Martin Heath. 17th is 23, Martin Tolley. 18th, 757, Luke Whitworth. 19th is 99, which is Nick Rutter. And in 20th position is 69, George Grant. So the cars pass the incident zone. There's 18 further cars in this race. Let's give you who they are. 21st is number 7, Alex Miller. 22nd is 17, Nick Dunn. In 23rd is number 50, which is Lee Britton. In 24th is 40, which is Matthew Hallam, of course, making his MX-5 debut. In 25th position is 47, which is James Warrior. In 26th position is 70, Xavier Brooks. In 27th is 15, Clive Powles. In 28th is 77, which is Seamus Heaney. In 29th is 90, Bruce Robinson. 30th is number 13, Tom Selden. 31st is 67, Clive Chisnell. And 32nd is 78, which is Marcus Colton. In 33rd is 777, Andrew Flynn. In 24th it's 35, which is the new car. Then in 25th is 67, Kevin Sylvain. In 26th is 16, Matt Pickford. 27th is 19, Liz Walton. And 38th is 316, Ivor Mares. So that's how the 38 cars are currently running. 25 car is Stephen New. So Stephen New in car 16, 25 even, which is was a late addition to the entry. Who managed to get a race though, nevertheless, after a couple of cars have had to pull out, including Michael Nibbs. He didn't get to race earlier after qualifying on the front row. A real shame for him because he was up in 5th in the championship heading here to Silverstone. So recovery continues. The safety car is out. And it's Sam Smith that's following him behind, following the safety car around with 11 minutes of the race still to go. So we will get some racing in still. So Jack Hardin, not good start for him. He's down in 8th position in 43. So real shame, or not great for him, who started 6th on the grid. So that's car 11 which is being pulled off. That's the Scott Wright car. Looks like the front right corner is broken on that one. It's the front left corner that is broken on the Alex Jones car. See there on screen, car number 77, which is Seamus Heaney, and he is running in 28th position. Give the club class runners the order there. Leading that is car number 6, which is Richard Amos. Second is 66 Martin Heath, and in third position number 70 Xavier Brooks. So a championship within a championship here, although all running to the same spec of Mazda MX-5. Alex Jones's car is about to be put onto the back of the flatbed. Obviously both these cars needing a lift as they've got a broken corner on them. Alex Jones making his debut in MX-5 racing after a number of seasons in Formula V. So a very different type of car to get used to, but unfortunately it's broken. So work to do. It's unlikely, I guess, to get out for the second or the third race of the day, because it's only about an hour or so between this race and the next one for the MX-5 SuperCup, with 3 races in a day unusually. So we should have a lap or so of the safety car period, and then we get the race back underway with something like 7 minutes to go, with Sam Smith leading. Then the champion from last year took his first win of the season earlier on today, and he's looking to repeat it. Patrick Fletcher did at Croft, where he won the first 2 races of the weekend, and then the third race will have a partially reversed grid to add even further excitement into these races, which have been very good all the way through the day. All the BRSCC Mazda races for the Mark 1s or the Mark 3s. See Jack Hardin there weaving about, the driver who I think took the championship lead after the earlier race. Although not yet a winner. He's had a second, a third, and another third place. So on the podium in every race for Jack Hardin up to now. But this race is going to be much more difficult for him to achieve that feat, with him down in 8th position. So we're going to get at least one further lap of safety car running. Adam Bessel there, you can see really weaving side to side. He's been the biggest mover really in this race, because he started 12th on the grid after not really getting 2 quick laps in qualifying, but he's worked his way up to 4th over those first 4 or so racing laps, so he might be able to progress further. He's the driver with the fastest lap of the race, a 75.830, which is almost a second quicker than the 3 cars in front of him. But of course, being able to use the slipstream too. There's car number 7, which is Alex Miller. He shared the car with John Langridge that they won in the Enduro race at Brands Hatch last weekend. So coming here to Silverstone. And Alex Miller is running in 21st position at the moment, just behind George Grant. See lots of team members on the pit wall, lots of support behind the MX-5 SuperCup drivers. A lot of the cars run in teams, but there are some of the car drivers which run themselves, which is absolutely the ethos of club motorsport, whether you do it yourself or you do it within a team. Either way can be successful, because Sam Smith there and Patrick Fletcher really run cars themselves. Patrick Fletcher with his dad Andy, and Sam Smith I think sort of teams up with a couple of the teams as well, but primarily runs it as Sam Smith Motorsport. There's 23 Martin Tolley, who's in the Go For It racing car that I think he's basically runs that team. 6 minutes of racing to go, which hopefully we'll get a green flag in a moment or so. So there's Sam Smith really weaving about, hoping to make the break when we do restart, and looking how we're starting to drive would suggest this lap we will go racing. We're about 5 minutes to go, so about 5 laps of racing we should get in. There's John Langridge in the number 5 car run by Blink Motorsport, and Yeah, it looks like the safety car's gone, so we're going to get back under racing now then with about 5 laps of racing to go. Yeah, the safety car pulls in and we're about to go then with Sam Smith controlling the pace to the line, and they get a green flag at the line and racing can resume. He's taken it very slowly initially and now he accelerates on the exit of the corner, and he's made a good jump indeed from Patrick Fletcher, so not a good start from Fletcher at all there. So Sam Smith's going to have a good lead across the line. Fletcher's going to be under increasing pressure from James Cousins and Adam Bessel, who both made good progress at the start. So the green flag is waved and away they go then for this last 5 minutes of racing for the MX5 Super Cup for their second race of the weekend. The cars all stream across the line, still 38 of them in the race, just those 2 cars involved in the Copse Corner incident, which have been eliminated, and by the time they get to Beckett you can see this second or so in margin that Sam Smith made. Adam Bessel's all out of control and he's off the road, and John Language has gone off with him, so that's the elite access car of Adam Bessel that's had to rejoin over the grass, over the Grand Prix circuit as well. He went so far off, and John Language involved too there. They were in 4th and 6th positions, but Bessel was all out of control in the braking zone and just couldn't get the car stopped. So that means into 4th comes Richard Amos, in 5th is Jack Hardin, so a good restart there from Hardin, the championship leader. Although yet to win a race this year, it's been on the podium every time up to now. In 6th position is Declan Lee, 96, has a spin. That's Christopher Richardson, who rotates, and everybody just about misses him, which is good. I think this 1 second margin has come down somewhat between Sam Smith and Patrick Fletcher. And Fletcher's pulled away from James Cousins, who was right on his tail up to the line last time. Yeah, fastest lap of the race. We're on Patrick Fletcher, 75.780, and he's right on the tail of the leader Sam Smith. So can Fletcher challenge to take a win here? Well, he certainly seems to have the pace. You can see the order there on the left hand side of your screen. And it's Sam Smith from Patrick Fletcher and James Cousins and Richard Amos and Jack Hardin and Declan Lee in the top 6. Here they come down towards Beckett's corner here. Will Blackwell Chambers is also in this group, as is Simon Baldwin and Braden Fletcher and Sam Smith and Martin Canning too. So I think it's about 11 car breakaway. John Language recovered to 12th and Adam Bessel 17th after their grassy moments a lap ago. Here comes Fletcher then to the inside, down into Brooklands, and Patrick Fletcher takes the lead, does he, on that inside line? Although we know the outside line has grip, so he might not achieve it. He doesn't, in fact, so Sam Smith stays in front, but that was a good effort from Fletcher. He tried to use that inside line, the shorter distance, but a bit more slippery in these conditions. But that's brought everybody back into play, really, with James Cousins bringing Richard Amos and Jack Hardin and Declan Lee with him, as they complete 10 laps now with 3 further laps to go of the race. And Sam Smith feels the need to defend from Fletcher, who tried to come up the outside line. They're absolutely will-to-will in the braking zone. Fletcher on the curb, got the car a little bit sideways, but he's still alongside. Now he's going to be on the curb. Well, he's more on the curb than he's off the road, isn't he? Well out over the tarmac runoff, which might bring James Cousins into contention by the time they get to Maggots. Well, Fletcher's done it in interesting fashion off the road, but of course he was alongside before that as they went through the corner. So Patrick Fletcher does lead now. And that'll be closely monitored by the officials, but pretty much everybody here at Beckett's is going over the white lines as well, so very hard for the officials to keep on track with this, especially in these tricky conditions. Fastest lap for Will Blackwell Chambers, 75.723, and there's been an off there for Tom Selden in the Luke Herbert racing car. That was at Brooklands, so that's where the leaders are going down to now, which will be a yellow flag zone, so there should be no overtaking. And into Luffield they can, though, and Sam Smith immediately re-challenges up the inside of Patrick Fletcher, who takes the long line round Luffield, the line that Sam Smith's been doing all day. And Smith tried the inside for the first time and it didn't work at all for him, so he's lost a lot of time on the exit of the corner, which brings James Cousins and Richard Amos right into contention as they come across the line to complete 11 laps. There's 2 laps we should squeeze 2 more laps in. The marshal's working hard to get Tom Selden's car out of the way so we can have green flag racing. There's Jack Hardin right on the tail of Richard Amos, who's right on the tail of Sam Smith and James Cousins, who are side by side for 2nd and 3rd positions. We've now got 777 off Andrew Flynn. Not too sure where that is, but Andrew Flynn has come to grief. I think that's at Beckett's, isn't it? So Andrew Flynn off at Beckett's, 777. indeed, and the leaders are just passing that zone now, which is headed by Patrick Fletcher. He was 2/3 of a second ahead of Tom Smith, Sam Smith, I should say, who's managed to keep himself ahead of James Cousins in that side-by-side action. Double yellow still at Brooklyn, so a lot of the track is under yellow flag at the moment, so no overtaking around those parts of the circuit anyway. In 4th place, Richard Amos. 5th is Jack Harding. 6th is Will Blackwell Chambers, who's progressed from 15th on the grid. Declan Lee is 7th. Simon Baldwin is 8th. 9th is Braden Fletcher, and 10th is Sam Smith. Got one further lap to go if the officials are going to let it keep running, because of course so much of the track is under yellow flags, so we'll just check to see if we do get the final lap board, the last lap board. We do, so the officials are happy for the race to continue with yellow flags out on track, and it's Patrick Fletcher that leads then into Cops Corner, which is I think a green flag zone, so they can race behind. Fletcher 6/10 so clear of Sam Smith, who goes wide, very wide at Cops Corner. Is that going to hurt him? Though we know you can carry the speed there and not lose time, and I think that's what the case has been for Smith. He's got away from a real battle pack for 3rd, which is side by side into that yellow flag zone, unhelpfully really. James Cousins and Richard Amos at the front of it, and it's Cousins who comes out on top as they head back into a green flag zone, and hopefully Brooklands will be green for the final lap of the race. It is, so they can race into this final complex of corners then, and Sam Smith is very racy. He's right on the tail end of Patrick Fletcher as they turn their way through the left-hander at Brooklands. It's 29 Fletcher that's currently ahead. A real battle pack behind, but Smith is sideways there on the exit of Brooklands. Fletcher kind of defends to the middle of the road, so let's hope for his sake that he gets a good exit to Luffield Corner here. And I think he has. He's got a decent gap over Smith. It's side by side behind, and Richard Amos has come through to 3rd place, which will be a great result for him. But for the win of the race overall, it's Patrick Fletcher who wins then for the 3rd time this season. Sam Smith follows him home in 2nd. 3rd goes to Richard Amos. Surely that's his best result in the category. 4th for James Cousins. 5th for Declan Lee. 6th Jack Harding, his first non-podium of the year. 7th for Will Blackwell Chambers. 8th for Simon Baldwin. 9th for Sam Smith. 10th for Braden Fletcher. 11th Martin Canning. 12th for John Langridge. And 13th Adam Bessel. They both recovered after they're off. 14th Martin Tolley. 15th Luke Whitworth. 16th for Martin Heath. 17th for Nick Dunn. 18th for Simon Fleet. 19th for Chris Richardson. And 20th for Alex Miller. The rest of the field flow across the line to take the checkered flag then in what was a 13-lap race with that interruption in the middle. And we only lost 4 cars in the end. We saw all those cars scattered around the circuit. Let's have a look at the highlights of that race though. So they got underway with Sam Smith on pole position. He made the better start. He got ahead of Patrick Fletcher on the start of the race. You had car 12, Declan Lee, in 3rd in the early stages of it. They turned their way to the end one lap with a huge swarm of cars at the front. Lots of spray in the mid-pack to deal with. Really tricky conditions. And that caused a spin for Clive Powles. Patrick Fletcher challenged for the lead, but there were drivers on a mission, including Adam Bessel, who moved up from 12th on the grid. He ended up getting 4th before problems later. Sam Smith come under increasing pressure for Patrick Fletcher before there was an incident between Scott Wright and Alex Jones. That caused a safety car, which meant a 5-lap restart, which Sam Smith made a good restart. He made a good gap from Patrick Fletcher, but it wasn't enough to break the tow. Adam Bessel and John Langridge outbroke themselves into bitter kicks and had a big old moment, but they managed to rejoin and recovered to 12th and 13th. It was an inside line move from Patrick Fletcher into Brooklands Corner to try and overhaul Sam Smith. He couldn't manage it on that occasion, but it was this outside move through Cops where him and Sam Smith went side by side, and Fletcher used all of the road and more to take the lead of the motor race. A lead that he would never lose, and beat Sam Smith by half a second at the checkered flag, with club class driver Richard Amos taking an overall podium in 3rd. Let's hear from Scott Woodwis with our top 3.
Well, another MX5 SuperCup race, another 3 very happy drivers for various different reasons, so we'll jump and have a quick conversation, but I'll have a chat to all 3 first of all with our winner for the 3rd time this year, Patrick Fletcher. You're getting the habit of this now, aren't you?
I wouldn't say a habit. That last race was very difficult, but no, it's nice to rack up three wins so far.
Yeah. Because as we talked about at Croft, that you're across an independent outfit based on all the other bigger teams are out there, so you just seem to have a knack for the car, don't you?
Well, there's a lot of hard work and sweat, blood and tears that goes into the car, so I just want to thank my family, so the Fletchers and Andrew Tibbs Racing as well, who sets the car up for me. And we've got a lot of support as well, so we've got a lot of people watching at home. I've got family in the grandstand, so my girlfriend's not here this weekend and she's watching on live stream, so I've got a lot of support, and no, the car feels good. It's just got to keep on the track. That's the hard bit.
Yeah, they make it tough for you out there, don't they?
Yeah, I think we hit a few times and we went across the curbs a few times, and it's so easy just to spin it, but no, I'm happy to bring it home in one piece after that race.
So it's now 1-1 for wins today between you and Sam. Someone's got to break the deadlock.
No, there'll be a reverse grid, and then there'll be many people that could take that final win of the day. So no, the last race will be interesting. It's in just about an hour's time, so it's very soon.
Great stuff. Well, well done for win number 3, and we'll see you for race number 3 later on.
Thank you very much. I also want to thank my new sponsors for this round, HPS, Heat and Plumbing Supplies. Head down there if you need any of your heating needs.
There you go. Good stuff. Thank you, Patrick. Let's bring in Sam for second place. It's become a bit of a tussle between you two, isn't it, you and Patrick? So it's 1-1 today, isn't it?
1-1 today, mate. Yeah, I had him in quali, so if I can get him again, I'll be happy days. Yeah, he drove really well. I was just trying to be Mr. Consistent. I know wet weather's not to my strength, so if I can stay on. Again, we had problems at Croft, so damage limitation, but again in the wet weather, damage limitation again for me really. But it was nice to actually follow another car, so I can see where he was a lot quicker than I was. So if it's wet for the next one, moving forward, I know where I need to improve now, which is a positive thing.
The great thing is you've never been off the podium all season so far. I mean, that's got to be nothing but rock solid consistency to really put you in the hunt to defend your title.
Well, that's what we've got to do. It's the same last season, really. I think we had 1 or 2 rounds off the podium, but that's what won us the championship in the end, and that's what it's about, bringing trophies home. And we'll do our best. We're starting reverse grid, so I think I'll be starting P9, I think it'll be. So that'll be a learning curve again in the Mark III. I've not been that far back before, so
have to get your elbows out.
Do my best, mate. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well done. Good stuff for second place.
Thank you very much.
And let's bring in third place overall and our club class winner as well. Well, Rich Themis, you're on fire today. You were up there, I think, 4th in the first race, 3rd in the second one. You must have had something for breakfast.
Well, I didn't actually have anything for breakfast, but it's not normal really. Yeah, just, I don't know, it's just kind of qualifying went all right yesterday. It put me in the right bit of the race, and it's difficult conditions. I think a lot of people are struggling, and it's just, it's hard to race in this weather, and I think everyone's doing well just to keep it on, to be honest. So yeah, it's good.
Being teammates to Sam helps as well.
It does, yeah. We learn a lot from each other. So he's obviously faster than me, but yeah, just bringing me along slowly, and yeah, creeping up to the front. Hopefully, we racing each other soon. So yeah.
And now you got to start ahead of these two for the 3rd race.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, I've never been up in this position, so I don't know how it works. But yeah, I'll be there somewhere, I guess, and yeah, hopefully just keep it on.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah, try to. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well done for 3rd place, and of course club class win as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers. Thank you.